All right, guys, another great episode of PFREI, Passion for Real Estate Investments. I'm your host, Fuquan Bilal. Oh, man, today we got a very times 100 good guest, Mr. Cory Boatright. Cory, as I was mentioning before I pressed record, I was really grateful that you took the time to actually come on the podcast and share your experience with our viewers. Cory has completed over 100 million in real estate acquisitions and closed over 1,000 real property transactions, including 100 plus multi-family unit, land, single family resident properties, private investment dealings. He runs a nationwide education company also that coaches high achieving, keyword, high achieving entrepreneurs and their teams to getting phenomenal results in their business. As well as top related real estate podcasts and iTunes. He currently buys or wholesales 80 plus 100 properties a year in greater Oklahoma City metro area, and resides in Oklahoma with Leslie and their wonderful 2 kids. Welcome to the show, my brother. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Fuquan. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. So I always start the show with one question, which is based off of your experience and everything in the business. Why are you passionate for real estate investing?
Real estate investing has opened up a whole world of options, and those options would not simply be there without real estate investing. And it's not just investing, it's specialized knowledge about real estate investing. Let's open it up a little bit. Let's take the box and open it. The specialized knowledge about real estate investing is not typical knowledge. It's not, I can find a property and find it for low and sell it for high. It is so much more involved, and it's an exciting world and a journey to be able to go through all those different avenues of creative real estate investing. One particular that we really focus a lot on is wholesaling. And wholesaling is a very transactional based company. However, if you get a small team together like we put together, it can really be an engine. It can be an engine that can be duplicatable. It's a scalable business, and it's something that has really just opened up a lot of options. So real estate investing, whether you're wholesaling, sub to lease options, multifamily, single family, doing lending and doing liens or mechanics liens or notes, or all the things that come with real estate investing, the fun things, retail business or not, there's a lot to it, and it just gives you great options. That's why I'm passionate about it.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that, and I can hear the passion in your voice about it. So let's jump right into it. I mean, we travel in some of the same circles. I'm not a skydiver like you. That was, pretty bold. I had that on my bucket list to do. I'm like, oh, I want to do it. I'm going to wait till my oldest son, he's 17 now. He turned 18 next week, and he only spends time with me if we go, ride dirt bikes or maybe jump out of a plane or something. So I'm going to take him on that. So appreciate you having the courage to do that, but you also are a survivor as well. I know you had some battles in your life, and you overcame so a few things, and I guess that made you more hungrier forever than life. And I want to talk about this Grateful Project also. Let's just jump into that before we jump to the real estate stuff. So what are you grateful for today?
Every day I'm grateful to be above ground. There's so many things to be grateful for. And the particular thing you're talking about is going through thyroid cancer that I was diagnosed with at the end of 2012. And it radically changed my perspective on life. And for most entrepreneurs, we feel we're bulletproof. If you're an entrepreneur, you're probably raising your hand and say, yeah, I kind of feel that way. And no one can outwork you, and you're going to live forever. And you have all the time in the world to do all the things that you want to do until you don't, until someone says, here's the expiration date. Oh, by the way, you weren't expecting it to be that early. And whenever you are faced with something like that, Fuquan, it changes your perspective on everything. You want to consider all the things that you have not done yet, and you start to deal with these kind of regrets. And that's one of the things that I had in my life. I had some regrets, and I felt so grateful after I went through the surgery, and praise God, man, I've been cancer free now for over 7 years. And just thank you, Lord. Every day I get up in the shower and I say, my worst day is someone else's paradise. I say it over and over again every day. And I'm grateful for everything that happens, all the good and the bad, because those perspectives on good and bad are in the moment. my brother, but there's always things going on in the moment that are much more bigger than we all realize. There's always bigger things going on in the moment. There's a bigger reason why that person went through that turmoil. That person got knocked down. There's a bigger reason why that tragedy happened. There's a bigger reason why that success happened. There's a bigger reason why you didn't get that promotion, why that door slammed in your face, or why that window was shut. There's a bigger reason for all of it. And if you can learn to see that perspective, and for me, it really took that cancer for me to really kind of slap me and say, you better wake up, because life is a lot longer than you think, but it's also a lot shorter.
Yeah.
And you have to really get a different perspective on that. And so the Grateful Project is designed basically for out of my way of kind of dealing and coping with that sense of wasn't really lost, but a sense of like challenge and turmoil where I just had to come up with a reason every day to be grateful. I was just feeling so low, like, how can this happen to me? How could I, the one, I'm the youngest of my three brothers. My brothers, aren't the epitome of what you would consider healthy, Fuquan. One likes to, drink beers all the time and go to and get beanie weenies as his favorite thing for a meal, right? Not the most healthy. Another one dips and smokes both at the same time. And I mean, and they're fine. They're great. And here I am trying to eat well and do the right things. And I get hit with this thyroid cancer. And so you have this kind of sense of, that's not fair and all those other things. But you also kind of start to realize like I just need something. So every day I started writing, I'm grateful for my finger. I'm grateful for my legs. I'm grateful for my teeth. I'm grateful for my breath, my lungs. I'm grateful for my hair. I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for my smile. I'm grateful for, I just started to say one reason a day to be grateful. And entrepreneurs tend to like lists and things that they can kind of keep track of. And I'm the same way. And so it just started helping me get another reason. I'm grateful for a sunset. I'm grateful for my wife, grateful for my kids, all these things. And eventually someone started to see me saying, I saw that day one, you put you're grateful, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, I saw that you were posting that, and then once you start posting consecutively and consistently over and over and over again, Fuquan, people start to maybe want to be a part of that, or they start asking you questions about it. And that's kind of what happened. It got up to several hundred days, and I was posting a reason every day to be grateful. And somebody that had a very big following reached out, and his name was Josh, and he reached out and he said, man, I love what you're doing. I want to post this to my community. And in one night we grew, I started a little Facebook group, and we grew in one night 3,000 or 4,000 members in one night.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
That's amazing. And all the stories and then people started to want to start their own Grateful Project.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It wasn't just for cancer, Fuquan. It was for a lot of other reasons, which I think is a beautiful thing. So God used this turmoil, this just challenge. And by the way, today is day 2251. 2,251 days. Every day without fail, I post a reason to be grateful.
That's amazing, man. I can relate to that. I went through a hardship also in 2001. I was a botch robbery in my office. I was shot 5 times and left for dead. And I survived that. So I can relate to the appreciation that you have for life and what you're grateful for, because people take for granted being able just to tie their shoes or anything, right?
Yes.
So I definitely, that resonate with me when I see those posts. I'm like, yes. So, definitely appreciate that. Also, I know that you mentioned about wholesaling. You mentioned, we're going to switch gears a little bit into the real estate now. We talked about wholesaling. You said it's transactional. So when you're doing coaching and you're teaching people and you're adding value and teaching people the stuff that you've learned, today in your business, is it more like a hybrid model where you have wholesaling, which is one division, which is another business, and then you have the multifamilies? Is that multifamily? There's 2 questions. One is the multifamily market still hot because we went through COVID? A lot of people are migrating into single family homes and getting out of that. And the second question on the wholesaling is, where are you seeing it now with values increasing and the demand on the market? Are you seeing shortage of inventory on that side. So let's do the commercial one first and then go over to the wholesaling.
Commercial, if I have one regret, it would be I should have gotten to multifamily sooner. The understanding of forced appreciation, the understanding of the tax benefits from a cost seg perspective. I mean, as a person living in the United States and as a business, and one of the biggest expenses you're going to have is taxes. Uncle Sam is going to be your partner, your silent partner, but he's going to be your partner, whether it's state taxes or income or IRS federal taxes. So multifamily has really helped a lot with on taxes. It has also helped a lot on creating net worth and ability to be able to grow your net worth pretty quickly. When I realized that you didn't have to, let's say you have a $10 million asset and you're thinking, well, somebody's listening right now going, yeah, multifamily, $10 million. Okay, you lost me because I might not only have $10,000 in my bank account. I get it. But here's what you may not realize is that banks will lend you 70 to 80 cents on the dollar on a property that if it's a good property, and there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of people that want to sell, the banks are happy to lend 70, 80 cents on the dollar. So what that tells you is you might find a $10 million purchase price on an asset that's 100 plus multifamily units, and it's either a C plus or a B class asset, and they are willing to loan you $7 or $8 million. Well, guess what? Now you got to come up with either $2 or $3 million. That's a lot easier nut to crack with 2 to 3 million. But how do you do that? Then you come into this thing called syndication. And I know you know what this is. Some people that are listening, if you don't know what it is, it basically allows you to create a way to be able to raise capital, either with accredited investors through the 50BC,
506C, yeah.
506C, excuse me, with accredited investors only, or 506B with mom and pop investors and a limited amount of accredited investors. And by doing these, and there's some hybrid of these too, but of those two main models there, you are allowed now to be able to go create a private placement memorandum. You can go and raise capital, and you can actually divide up the equity in this property, right, with your investors. And you might be able to do a 70-30 or a 75-25, where you're providing a 7 or 8 pref and on the other end, and then you're also giving your limited partner investors a piece of the deal. There's all these different ways that you can split up this, but the main thing is that there's a way to do it by raising capital to buy this deal. You give away a lot of the equity in the deal, but you're still able to get your first deal knocked out. And that's exciting because it seems overwhelming whenever you see such a bigger asset with bigger zeros behind it. And you're thinking, how in the world am I going to be able to do that? Well, there's ways to do it, and there's right ways to do it, and there's wrong ways to do it. But the right ways to do it is to find a very good syndication attorney and be able to raise some capital.
Yeah. So let's talk about the wholesale side a little bit. Are you seeing, because there's a demand in the market, I know you're doing wholesales in the affordable market. Are you seeing that it's getting tougher because sellers now know that they can sell for a higher pricing? Is the margins getting smaller on wholesales, or is it just in the way of finding the deals that makes the difference, right?
I love marketing. And so this is one of the topics I'm very passionate about, because we deal with off-market properties when we're dealing with wholesaling. We directly market to the owner to have them raise the hand if they're interested in selling the property. And 9 times out of 10, they don't want to work with an agent. So out of the, let's say 100 people, maybe 5 of them want to work with a wholesaler. So we deal with about 5% of the marketplace. 95% want to work with agents, but that 5%, Fuquan, is still a pretty big nut. It's still a pretty big market. And so with properties right now in Oklahoma City, I'll tell you, about a 1.4 million with 10 counties that make up the Oklahoma City metro area. There's an inventory low. Anything that's basically under 6 months of inventory, right, is going to be considered kind of getting low. Well, and right now we're about 3 months. We're around 3 months of inventory. So you're half of what you're supposed to be. And so there is properties that are coming on. You have bidding wars. right? You have bidding wars. And there's these properties that these owners don't want to work with an agent. So they're able to work with a wholesaler. They work with someone like my company. And we're able to now take the property, and then we already have essentially the property sold because we have connections and people that we work with and a big investor database and all that. We already have a way that has a disposition on that property. So right now, I mean, it's on fire. However, it's on a price range. In Oklahoma City, the median price range is still hovers around 140 to 150 range. It was actually a little lower. It's gone up over the years, 140, 150. So with that median range, those houses are on fire. Now you start stepping into the $300,000 and $400,000 and $500,000 houses. It isn't as much. It isn't as on fire. It's still a hot market, but it's not getting multiple bids and things like that. So it has everything to do with, I always say that real estate is hyper local. It's not just local, it's hyper local, right? Meaning that the street next to that street could sell for $200,000 more than this house over here. It's a hyper local market. And so you have to look at your price range. And for us right now, anything under $150,000 is literally flying off the shelf that we can pick up in the greater OKC area. And so this is right now a time when you went through COVID, especially, they have changed a lot of different things right now. One of the big ones is they froze, companies shut down, they froze evictions. So the landlords aren't able to evict their tenants. And some of them already had bad tenants. Now they got to live with them for another 6 months. Now they're not getting cash for another 6 months. Some of these landlords are throwing their hands up and saying, I'm done. You know, hey, white flag, take it from me, you know?
Yeah. And then that's when the creative stuff coming that you talked about earlier, the subject twos and everything else. Yeah.
You got it.
Yep. So I didn't mean to cut you. I just wanted to get that in there because I'm a junkie. I'm like, oh, subject two. And I'm hearing, oh, no tenants. Okay, we'll take it over. We'll take the problems, everything. Just sign right here and we'll make it happen. Get you your
sign right here.
Yeah, liquidity. You know, we want to make sure that the sellers, of course, you know, are making good money also. And it's a win-win for both situations. But that's when the strategies you talked about earlier come into play. Yeah. So you spoke about, let's get back to that. Marketing is what makes the difference on your margin. Got it.
It does. Absolutely. So here's what's interesting, right? You can take the same house and get a little better margin from it by being a better negotiator. Okay. So how do you become a better negotiator? You become a better listener. Man, that's golden right there. If you become a better listener, you ultimately become a better negotiator. And the reason is because people will tell you what they want. And what you are hearing whenever you come into the transaction most of the time is it's me against you. There's a positioning that's it's me against you. And there's got to be a winner and a loser in this deal, right? But what if I told you that is the opposite way to get the most amount of not only money in the deal, but also create the most amount of value in the transaction, right? It's not a meistic point of view. It's how can I serve you? How can I serve you? What is it that you really need to get accomplished here? And by the way, if we ain't able to do business, what are you going to do? What's your next steps? What are you going to do with the property? You're just going to let it go? You're going to give it to Uncle Bob? I mean, what's the next steps if we're not able to work together today, right? I mean, if you really ask great questions, lead to great answers, and you become a great listener, then you become a better negotiator. Because what people will do is they feel like they know, like, and trust you. And these are things you've always heard, I'm sure, from How to Win Friends and Influence People book, one of the best books around. But what another part of that is that people will tell you what is going on with the pain that's associated to the asset. Gosh, that's good. We're preaching today.
Yeah. Keep it going.
There's pain associated with the asset. There's pain associated with the asset, right? There's a reason why they called you. By the way, the fact that they called you, you aren't calling them, 50% of the negotiation's already over. You've already got 50, because they are calling you, looking for a solution, wondering what you can do to help them, right? 50%'s there. The other 50% is you. And about 40% of that is listening. Tell me about what do you want to accomplish today? How can I serve you? What is it that's really what's going on with this property. It's a great property. Why would you want to sell it? Almost pushing back to where you don't even want the property, but you're just kind of hearing like, why would you want to sell such a great property like this? And they will tell you the real reason that's associated, the pain with the asset. And oftentimes it's not just, I need money. I need the most amount of money. It's, I need a certain dollar amount to accomplish something. I need to accomplish something with a certain dollar amount, or the money's not even a big issue. It's a time thing. I need to get gone in 30 days, 15 days, right? Or I just don't feel comfortable in the house anymore. Someone passed away. There's a lot of feelings and emotions that are attached to a property like that. If you start spending more time on all of the painful emotional reasons that can be connected to the asset, and become a better listener, you will be a better negotiator, and then your margin will go up.
There you go, House King home buyers. All day. So you're teaching. I'm going to give out some handles. Some of your handles. You do the coaching is www.coryscoaching.com, where you're teaching some of this stuff. It was a lot. I just learned it in that I'm actually going to take back to my sales team. A few nuggets notes that I took down. I'm like, okay. And make sure they get this information. I really appreciate that. One other thing I want to cover, because I know you do a lot of coaching, you speak to a lot of people, and I want to talk about the word success, because I saw a post that you did the other day, and it was like, boom, boom. It was on success. And, let's talk about that again, because everybody wants to be successful, but they don't really understand what success is. And it's different for everybody, right? So just give me your spiel on that word success, because I know you see a lot of people who think maybe money is success, or doing a lot of deals is successful. Let's talk about that a little bit, and we'll kind of end the show with that. This was a great interview, Cory. I really appreciate it again. They're nice and short and impactful. So I want to kind of end on the success tip, and then you can give your handles, and you'll pretty much go from there.
I appreciate it, man. Really do. It means a lot. I really appreciate it. The word success is economy of word. It does not mean the same thing to every person. It's not one size fits all, as you mentioned. What it means to me is I have options to do what I want, when I want, how I want, where I want, who I want to do it with. I have options to be able to do that. No one is telling me or making me do anything. I have options. I have a freedom of choice to do it. I'm not motivated, and I have to by, some reason I have to show up at a job or some other reason like that. I have options, and then whenever I have options, and that's when I feel like I have freedom. And then when I have freedom, I feel very successful. That's one side of it. The other side of it is kind of a hybrid of the two, but it's called fulfillment. See, fulfillment is very different than just having this success, because you can be very successful in everyone else's eyes, but here's where fulfillment comes into play. And you can have options, and you can make money, and you can have all that, right? But you're not fulfilled. Now, why is that? It's because fulfillment has everything to do with internal. Often people relate success with external, Fuquan. However, it's not just one-sided coin. You don't have one side of a coin. You have heads and tails, right? And success is the whole coin. It is freedom and options, but it's also internal of, I feel fulfilled for the day. I've done things that make me feel fulfilled, feel fulfilled of spending time with my wife, spending time with my kids, going and having cool experiences that are priceless. I used to think spending money on vacations and experiences were lavish and dumb. That's what my mentality was, that they were lavish.
Yeah. We've all been there.
And I'm telling you now, I couldn't have been more wrong. Experiences are priceless. They're priceless, absolutely priceless. And so if you're going to put some money in something, put it in the experience, because it absolutely can just be priceless. So fulfillment is internal. And that means to be something that you deal with your relationship with God. That's one thing for me in my life, that if I'm having a good relationship with the Lord, I feel fulfilled. If I'm out of sync on that, I haven't read the word in a while, I haven't listened to praise and worship in a while, I got into the word a little bit in a while, I haven't done anything like that, I don't feel as fulfilled. And that's because my spirit is all about fulfillment, and my flesh is all about usually just it's really about just carnal things that are cool but not very fulfilling, so fulfillment, internal success, kind of economy of word, both the heads and tails of the coin. I think you have to have both of them to really be impactful.
Awesome. Appreciate that. So you can catch him on Twitter at twitter.com/Cory Boatright, Instagram, Real Estate Investing Profits, and Facebook, Cory Boatright page. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate one of the guys, true to self and walk the walk, talk the talk. Really appreciate it. Another great episode of Passion for Real Estate Investments. Catch us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and all those other good social media handles. Today was another great episode, man.